So that's it. This is Nigeria right now. Action. It's Nigeria right now, and today my guest is Mr. Valentine Ozigbo. He joins me shortly.
Chief Dickson. That's what I call it.
Okay, I appreciate that. All right, how's Nigeria treating you?
Honestly, don't know if I should be responding to that question, because if it's about my own barometer, how it's treating me, it won't be a total reflection of how majority of Nigerians are feeling. I'm surviving. I'm thankful to God. I'm exceptionally doing well.
But you have people.
However, when I think about what's going on, and when I said it's not just the people at the base, entirety of Nigerians have engaged billionaires who are hemorrhaging seriously because of the difficulty we face in the country. And if you also talk about those in the middle class that are naturally going down to the base, and if you now talk about those in the base, I saw some pictures from the northern part of Nigeria that reminded me of Kwashiorkor in days of Biafran War. Not that I was born then, but we all saw those pictures, and we're seeing a lot of things we do now that take our mind back to those days, from even the national anthem. So I wonder, are we retrogressing? Are we progressing? Look at the minimum wage, the issues. Can we pass without electrifying speed? Can we look at the things that border on those people at the base, the real Nigerians? Hunger.
The issue of insecurity.
What can we do in that regard? I'm sure that level of efficiency. So when you do this, either when you're buying vehicles for the National Assembly members or the executives or whatever, and you take those, or even, I don't even know the speed with which, we didn't hear about the coastal road, for instance, but everything, demolition started happening already. Let's actually prioritize well. Let's shift our mind to things that are important. And that's, I am saying this with all sincerity. I'm begging, let's shift our mind to things that will touch our lives positively, particularly those at the bottom of the pyramid.
I feel it, because that takes me to why you got into politics. How far so far?
I remember the first set of people that I spoke to about my adventure into politics. In fact, I was talking to the likes of the president of Hilton, for instance, and top executives in the corporate world. And we were seated together somewhere in the UAE. And I muted this idea that I'm considering going into politics. And they were like, "You're out of your mind. Do you know what you're talking about? Going into the murky waters of politics? Do you know how you can't deal with those people in the next 5 years, 10 years? Do you know where your career will take you to?" I actually helped them. I said, "Okay, yes, let's play along." So it takes me to the best of the best in the world, and I buy all the houses in this world and private jets. And then I said to them, and so what? That and so what humbled them, kept them mute for a minute. And I said to them, so if I have all this personal wealth and the society I belong to is still where it is, and I go to my village, I'm scared I'll be kidnapped, I go through the bad roads, and I go through all those issues, and then I say, you know what, I'm done with this base. Let me even abandon Nigeria. Let me come to you. I pointed to the white guy I was with. So I come to your country. How do you treat me?
Yeah.
Guilty as proven innocent. So what's the use? That if this is how my world will be and end up, and I die, then I would have died in vain. Dickson, I am in politics to contribute my quota to changing the story of black man in the world. We are being looked down upon, and for far too long, and it's unacceptable to me. This story has to change. Nigeria is home to the greatest number of black people in this world. This is where it has to change.
Particularly in Anambra.
And
Yeah.
now that's
Because,
where I'm going
yes,
to.
because Anambra
Anambra,
has
I know you're from
billionaires.
Imo, I'll tell you this. There's no reason, there's absolute no reason why Anambra can be the Gemba, where that standard for quality governance can be set, because everything we need to achieve that is domiciled in Anambra State. I am so proud of, the intellectual capacity, the resourcefulness, the DNA is there, the youthful, everything, the money is there, the mind is there. So if we can actually come together, we can show an example of what is possible. And let me come into politics and show that example.
Yeah.
Because if you go back in time, from the Nnamdi Azikiwe days to the
Alex
down to the Alex
Ekwueme.
Ekwueme
Yeah.
days, down to in the literary wars, the Chuno Achebe. Now, I strongly believe that there's a lot that we can show in terms of an example. Now, I went into 2021 Anambra governorship race, and I have to tell you this: I am thankful to God for how far we have gone from zero experience in
Fresher.
politics to today. If you're talking about quality brand in Anambra politics, in the Southeast politics, and you want to mention top 3, top 4, top 5 names, by the grace of God, you mention my
That
name.
Anambra Chawapu. It caught fire.
And all got Chawapo. Anambra got Chawapo.
Yeah, but just for the advantage of those who are watching who are not Igbo, what does it mean, Anambra Chawapu? And what is the philosophy behind it?
Let Anambra blossom. Let Anambra shine. Let it be prosperous. Let it just be the light. We call it the light of the nation.
Light of the
Let
nation.
it be truly that light.
Yeah.
Let's light the candle. Not just for the Anambra, but for the rest of Nigerians. I sincerely believe this. And I didn't just think about this. I went to God in prayers. And my prayer is usually simple. If this objective can be achieved, may I never get there.
Let's go to the journey in 2023, right? Because you were very visibly active, right behind the man who most of the young people in Nigeria queued behind. That is Mr. Peter Obi. You were all over the place. What gains did we make? What were the challenges that we faced? And what can we do going forward?
Thank you, Dickson. 2023, I honestly, when I look back to that year, I have more, thank God for, than otherwise. When you were making this intro, you highlighted the push, the energy, the excitement, the buzz of the youths. However, it's not just the youths, all walks of life, all demographics. When I think about, let me start with the elders. People are actually considered the real elders of the land. They don't know how many more years God has in stock for them. And so they were hungry for
a quick change in their
change,
lifetime,
for it to happen before they go. They so desired this. That's why our elders came together. For the first time, I've never seen or read about where they all came together. If you shift your mind to the Southwest, for instance, the likes of former President Obasanjo, Pa Adebanjo, the leader of Afenifere, and not just him, the leadership of Afenifere, down to the likes of Delefarotimi, David Hundein, Rufai of Arise, and many. I dare say that if election was actually transparent, it may not have been impossible for Peter to have won in almost all the states in the Southwest. If you shift your mind to the South-South, similar. Go listen to words that came from Pa Edwin Clark and the leadership, the entire leadership of the PANDEF, Niger Delta government. And if you go to the Southeast, take it for granted anywhere. Leave the South, go to the North, particularly the Middle Belt, the about 14 states in the Middle Belt. And that's actually, I mean, it was exciting for me. So we actually know good when we say good. We actually can can take the right decision. So it's not all about religion or tribe or like we've always been made to. So, in fact, let's go back to starting a journey with this, with a party that's relatively unknown, no structure, no senator, no governor, no nothing. And we achieved all this. I clap for God, for Nigerians, for particularly the younger generation. But I am worried about the lack of integrity in our institutions, from the INEC to the judiciary, and sometimes securities, all the systems that we should hold dear, unfortunately haven't lived up to expectations. And we can't shy away from speaking truth to these issues. We can't. I am not saying this to condemn the individuals as a human being, but I'm saying this to condemn the acts, so that hopefully those individuals can have a remorse.
And have it retained.
Let it be that, okay, this is enough is enough. You don't know who's going to be the next victim.
Yeah.
Nigerians, let's do the right thing. We did well enough. I will give ourselves 90% in terms of citizenship behavior, but there's something still remaining. What happened in Nigeria wouldn't happen in a lot of places, not even within Africa. It won't happen in Egypt. It won't happen in Senegal. It will happen in Senegal. That's why the young man is the president today. We have to be able to say enough is enough. We have to be active. We have to demand for what is right, and we have to insist on it. So that docility, and it comes from selfishness. And, I don't want to die. I don't want to be the one to be arrested. I don't want to be. So that makes us to be docile. And we sit back and allow criminalities to happen before us.
The same song Fela sang a long time. I don't want that.
I get one child. My mom different house. My pa different house. I want to build a house. I don't build a house. I don't want quench.
Oh boy. Nigeria right now. We'll be right back. We'll take a break. Welcome right back. This is Nigeria right now with Dickson Iroegbu. And of course, my guest is still here, Mr. Valentine Ozigbo. Anambra 2025 is just by the corner. I'm sure the politicking is already going on. How's it coming? Are you going to contest?
It's already out there. I've made some public statements about this, and yes, I'll be running for governorship. But it's not about me. It's about Anambra. It's about the Igbo race. It's about Nigeria. And that's all I tell people. Look at the big picture. Governor Soludo, we contested in 2021. He was declared winner. I called him the same day to say congratulations, and I moved on. I decided that in the first 2 years, I will say no evil, hear no evil. The reason is very specific. I just didn't want my name mentioned in any form or shape as a distraction to what he was doing. Because I actually started seeing some things wrong from day one. But let's leave him. Maybe can get hand of it. I actually want him to do well because it's my state. It's not about, I'm not wishing him to do so that I can take over. No, I want him to do well. We haven't reviewed the past 2 years. I'm not impressed.
You're not?
I'm not. If you look at sectors, from infrastructure, it's not power we've solved. It's not security we've solved. Wrote some little minimal result there. And that's all. When it comes to education, healthcare, agriculture, I'm not seeing enough in terms of sports, entertainment, tourism. I'm not seeing enough. It took Alex Oti 1 year in Abia to show what governance should be like. So if I was going to say that, I'm so happy there's a reference I can point to today, so that it won't be, I'm playing politics, but that's how they say it. Oh, he's desperate. He's doing this and that.
You don't need forever to make impact.
Just look at it there.
Yeah.
So On the sector side, I'm not seeing that. On the cluster side, I'm not seeing enough. Onitsha is still not the commercial city I want it to be. Neo is an industrial hub. And I'm not saying that he's going to achieve all this within, but let's see the trajectory. Let's see the incremental progress. What I actually think should be the game changer when it comes to governance in Anambra is partnership. How do you make Anambra money work for Anambra? These billionaires, particularly those in the diaspora, who are hungry, they are eager to come home and invest. They are so scared. They can't come home. But those in Anambra are running away. Go to Asaba, go to Aba, go to Owerri, go to Enugu, Anambra all over. And when you come to Oka, you won't find it because they're scared. We haven't done well under Governor Soludo. Hunger is still there. And there isn't much to hope for. People have actually given up. In fact, the conclusion is that he doesn't know what to do, particularly in that most important part of insecurity, which is the primary purpose of government, safety and welfare of the citizens. And if you get it wrong, every other thing, you can't succeed.
So will you say, asking that very pertinent question that Peter Obi asked when he was vying for governorship, Anambra, are we the cause? Or are we the cause?
Anambra is so blessed. I am so proud of. I mean, that's where we started from. Yeah. Don't forget. That's where we started from. Yeah. You know, while I also talk about how well we've done as a people, I also want to use this medium to say to our people, let's be humble about our progress, our success. So I don't want us to exaggerate this. Yeah. The important thing here is that God has shown that even in the era of scarcity or marginalization, you can achieve so much. And let's see this as blessing. Now, what I'm also saying is that we deserve better. Yeah. We deserve better leadership. And I feel that a lot of people had thought because of name, people have a lot of big titles, and when they get into governance, they can translate into governor. They're totally two different things. If you really, really want to assess candidates going into leadership position, particularly in politics, I always emphasize these 4 P's about the person's personality, the character, competence, capacity, compassion. It has to be somebody who is emotionally intelligent, somebody who is humble about his progress, who is ready to, integrate, meet, and be accessible by everybody. That's the first part.
Someone ready to feel the pulse.
Feel the pulse. And the second part is, the platform you're running under. It has to be a platform that will take your people to where you're going to. As of today, Obedient and the party I belong to, Labour Party, has shown that that's actually, particularly because of the presence of Peter Obi in it, as a party that can change the trajectory in Nigeria. So why is to go into or belong to another party that has lost the vibe? So that's second part. The third part is the process of the person's emergence. I like it when you are the decision of the population, of the people, not being put there by either a Supreme Court or some godfathers who switch off a server and put you there. I am hoping that the real meaning of democracy is that the people put you there. And when you get there, you're accountable to the people. If the judges put you there, you can only be accountable to the judges. Yeah. And if it takes also, me to a point I also make to people when they say money over emphasis on money politics. It doesn't have enough money to compete against an incumbent. I said to them, if you're actually looking for somebody who has all the money to compete against the incumbent, the person has no reason to be accountable to you. Yeah. It has no reason to be accountable to you.
People have to buy into the vision.
Precisely. Yeah. So it has to be what we call Ohazulume. Now, the last part is now the promise. What is the person coming to do? the manifesto, the blueprint. How is it going to touch those important sectors? How has it shown a mastery of the problem? And how is he assessing? Is he a collaborative person who can engage the people? So if you want to solve any problem, get the right people in the room.
Okay.
Lock yourself up and find a solution.
Let's solve a particular problem. Let's speak your brain now on the issue of insecurity in the Southeast.
Yeah.
How would you have handled it differently if you were governor of Anambra State and, of course, governor in southeastern Nigeria?
There's nothing that we're going through today that hasn't happened before. The question to ask is, when it happened before, how was it tackled? That's number one. Number two, even as we are today in the Southeast, some states are better than us in terms of the impression on insecurity or security. And what are they doing differently? If you bring these two together, it gives you the answer you're looking for. Peter Obi, when he was governor, we had this kind of scenario. He went down to the grassroots. And that's also why I emphasize politics, governance at the grassroots. One of the promises Soludo made was within 6 months, within 1 year, local government election. That's very important. If you want to actually solve problems, bring governance to grassroots. Up to today, it's changing from one caretaker to another caretaker.
No local government election?
None. And we have spoken about it, shouted about this. It took for somebody, a gentleman, to go to court, obtain an order to create a seizure of payments and then he went ahead to establish a bill on Anambra Electoral Commission.
So the local government election is coming?
That's what we are saying. There are no calendar, not set so far. But we'll see that when you hold people at the jugular, they do something. Maybe, let's see how the court cases pan out.
So if you were governor today, you would have conducted...
Within 1 year, a must. I so much believe in it. Governance at the grassroots.
You're on tape on that?
Yes. I repeat it again. Within 1 year, I will conduct Anambra local government election. Within 1 year. Now, let me go back to the point on insecurity. What is even sad is not just even solving insecurity problem you've met on ground, but rather even creating more. What do I mean by this? There's hardly any part of Anambra where there's peace. Just simple thing as electing a PG of a town, President General of a town. You see petty politics in there. Oh, you're not from Abga, you cannot be PG. So if the entire town says this is the man we want, and the thing is not loyal to the party in power in Anambra, you can't be PG. And that creates its own insecurity. That alone. Then you move from one community to another community. And then, even for you to, as you were to give a chieftaincy to Dickson Iroegbu.
We saw the case of Andy Oba and...
even myself too. Actually, the truth of the matter is that same case. The entire 10 communities in Anocha local government wanted to give me Enyoma Anocha. The moment he went public, he wanted to sack everybody. Really? Just because of this. So I withdrew. I withdrew from it, not to create rancor. So when one of the Igwes now decided to go ahead and give to another gentleman, you mentioned his name, what happened? They went after him, and today, if you're an Igwe, you want to give some, the youth leader, woman leader, they'll come together, must agree, write to the commissioner for local government before you get approval to give a chieftaincy. Now, that order creates its own. They go into the issue of touts. If you must have seen video of people breaking jungle justice. All of that brings sense of lawlessness in Anambra State. Then added to the insecurity. Now, so let's solve this problem. First and foremost is create a law and order environment. Say no to criminality. That's the first thing you do. Engage people at the base. Work with the vigilantes. Work with the Igwes. Let them see you as a compassionate leader. Somebody that's accessible. Somebody they can listen to. Sit down with them and crack it. The third part is what you need to do as a government, working with the security agencies, have proper security meetings, engage with them, fund it. get them well equipped, get them well incentivized. Next is regional. What are you discussing with the rest of the governors in the Southeast? So that you don't chase them here, they run here. You don't chase them, they run here. Last one is engaging with the national, the federal. When you bring all this together, added to the economic issues you have to also solve. Because you have to be able to separate. Is this guy a criminal from birth? Meaning even if in the plenty, he will still be a criminal? Or is he was forced into it because there's no job, no food?
Even though that's not an excuse.
Even though that's not an excuse. I agree with you. But the problem is if you really want to then solve insecurity problem, they have to, you as a leader, as a governor, have to solve those economic problems. And even if you can't solve them alone, you've got to create the right environment for the private sector to get in there and create the jobs, create the prosperity.
What about these elements, these non-state actors agitating in the name of the incarceration of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Do you think as a region, as a Southeastern, that the call for political solution to the issue of Mazi?
See, anytime that you want to solve any problem, the starting point is always to go to the root cause. I actually feel that the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's issue was largely a mismanagement by the federal government. First is that people should be allowed to vent. People should be allowed to complain if they feel marginalized. It's a democracy that we run. And what you do is bring them closer and listen to them. What is the problem? Okay, this is what we're going to do. Oh, sorry, we can't do this one. This is much, and this is why we're not doing this. Engagement, dialogue. The moment you do the incarceration, and then there's even a court judgment, say bail or release, and you disobey, you create the more agitation. So I feel that are there enough reasons to agitate? There are plenty of reasons to agitate, and it's not just in the Southeast. In the Southwest, there are reasons to agitate. People should genuinely be allowed to agitate.
To vent, yes.
So, but how do you manage the agitation? That's where we have failed as a country. So, now that the problem is there, can only be a political solution. So, if you ask me, President Tinubu should immediately, and is a plea, we want to be able to separate agitators from criminals. Release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and release to people like Peter Obi, for instance. He will know how to engage him. By the time that is done, anybody coming out to agitate again, we know you're a criminal. You can be dealt with. So you figure out what else to do. I think it's something we must do to help the entire environment to achieve a proper law and order. So we lose a lot of money on Mondays on the sit at home. We need to end all this. All of these things we're talking about, actually manifestation of leadership, bad leadership, and that's why otherwise it won't even be here at all. Our conversation should be different. How do we catch up with the rest of the world? How do we leverage? Look at NVIDIA, $3 trillion market capitalization. One company, one corporation, bigger than Africa.
Yeah.
Because do you know what you're talking about? In Anambra, we can produce Mark Zuckerberg if we do the right thing. So that's the conversation I want to get into. And that's why it saddens me that we go through the pedestal and our people, oh, he's building road, he's doing this. I laugh at them. Do you know where the rest of the world are? We need to catch up.
Yeah.
And you need the right mind to do so.
This is wishing you all the
Thank
best.
you.
2025, I would have been engaging you about 2027, but that would be...
No. Let's stay on 2025.
I pray you win, and then we can talk more on that.
Thank you. Well, we're not campaigning yet, so let's be clear here.
I get that.
Thank you.
I'll see you next week on the same show, Nigeria.